It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. Welcome to the Dep Lewis Show, episode 102. This is your host, Dep Lewis, and today is Sunday, November 10th, 2024. A great day for a podcast about video games and more, and that is what I am here to do. So welcome to the show. Hope you're doing great out there in the world. Hope everything's been coming up roses. Hope everything's been going your way. Hope everything's been wonderful and outstanding and amazing and excellent and fabulous and whatever other word you can think of to hope your week is going good out there. So thank you for being here. This is a video game podcast. That's what we're here to do. But I am also recording this podcast while watching the great Carolina Panthers play over in Germany on TV. So they are playing during the podcast. So that's, they didn't consult with me about the scheduling, but that's okay. I'm going to watch the first half of this game while recording this podcast. And you can live through the game with me a little bit here with the Carolina Panthers wearing their blues over there in Munich playing the Giants and could potentially get a win. The Giants aren't any type of a good team and neither are the Panthers. So this one should be a shootout of incompetent teams at the moment. So go Panthers, though. They got their black helmets, blue jerseys, looking pretty cool. It's Sunday morning. We're here talking about video games, and this is Dep Lewis Show 102. So the first order of business is to ask you to follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast. Let's find the best place to subscribe and listen weekly. Places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, and more. Twitch.tv/Dep Lewis Show is a great place to follow. If you'd like to support the show even further than just listening, Patreon.com/Dep Lewis Show is available if you'd like to subscribe monthly. Also, Venmo at Dep Lewis Show is available any day, anytime, for any amount if you would like to support the show. And for today's show, we have 3 sections as always. The first section, I'll tell you about what video games I've been playing personally. So what I'm liking, what I'm disliking, what's in my rotation, and things of that nature. The middle section, it's called mid, but it's not mid in quality, is the video game news section. So the mid section will be all the happenings of the video game world that you need to know. Rumors, releases, speculation, all those kind of things. So that's the one to really come to the show each week and listen and get some good information. And the final section of the show, the Miscellaneous talk section, where I can talk about anything I want to outside the video game world, will be where I discuss things like the great Carolina Panthers, which I already mentioned. And, I usually dive into the worldwide world of sports, and today will be no exception in the Miscellaneous talk section. So that's the plan out there. So I really do hope you're doing good out there wherever you're listening to this podcast. Whatever time you're listening to this podcast, maybe you're listening to it today, maybe you're listening to it 10 years in the future, who knows, but welcome to the show and let's get into it. So what have I been playing? We're getting closer to the end of the year. The first announcement I would like to make is I have scheduled the Game of the Year show for the Dep Lewis Show Awards. It's going to take place, it's going to take place on December 8th, 2024. So this is going to be the Dep Lewis Show Awards 2024. It's going to be the normal Sunday podcast, but it's going to be anything but normal because it's going to be the Game of the Year episode. So it's one of the best episodes I've done, or my favorite episodes to do over the course of the history of this podcast. I've done 2 of them so far. This will be the 3rd annual Dep Lewis Show Awards, and it's going to take place December 8th. So just going to pop into your podcast feed that day, and you're going to get the definite best Game of the Year according to the Dep Lewis Show. So I'm going to have a few categories. I'm definitely going to have best Game of the Year from 2024. I'm going to have best video game from a prior year. And I think maybe a couple more categories. So I'm still trying to iron some of that stuff out. I just played a new game this week to try to add into the mix. I'm still playing some games, but I think I have a general idea of how it's going to go. A general idea is what I want to say, but I do not know what is the Game of the Year yet. So I need to have some internal discussion and monologues with myself and arguments and try to decide what I'm going to pick as the best Game of the Year, because I think it is a little bit contentious, and I think I need to use this last couple weeks really to decide. So it could be a finish, a picture at the finish line kind of thing. So a photo finish, that's what you want to call that. So it could be a photo finish for Game of the Year, but you're going to find out on December 8th, 2024, the 3rd annual Dep Lewis Show Awards for 2024. So you don't want to miss it. So that's the thing I want to lead off with there. So for this week, I've been playing a mixture of games, and I've been trying to dive into the RPG since it's the year of the RPG on the Dep Lewis Show. I think I've determined that's my favorite genre of video games at the moment, and I think maybe for going forward. So I'm really going to try to dive into these, I think, as I move on along through my video gaming journey. So I've been jumping back into some of these RPGs, and I've started a new one. So I've been playing some Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm in Chapter 4 in this section.
I have moved into a new city. So I've been venturing around the city. I'm trying to think what else I've been doing there. I've been seeing those hooded figures still. I think I'm going on to like a mission in the mines or a cave right now at the moment though. There was like a fishing settlement, and so I'm finally making some progress on some like a linear nature. So I've exited a little bit of the open world and I've moved into some of the linear sections, which are what I really do enjoy about this game from Final Fantasy VII Remake, the original one. Some people complained that that game was too linear, but I really liked it. It was kind of like going along with the movie. But yeah, I'm at a section now, though, I just remembered, where I'm fighting a giant enemy that I wasn't prepared to fight, and I was about to not make it, and I exited out of the game. So I have next time I boot the game up, I'm going to have a huge battle that I need to contend with. It's a giant fish coming out of the water. And some of these battles in this game can be hard. I think they're a little bit harder than the original game. I'm playing on easy like I always do, but you still have to, I think, take a little bit more onus than letting the auto command fight for you, because that's what I did a lot in the first game. I would just let it auto battle and try to pick my spots of where I need to come in and really change things up. But this game, it doesn't help you as much. So I think that's something I've noticed in this game. But I really do like this game. I'm going to consider it for Game of the Year for sure. And Final Fantasy VII Remake, the original one, is going to be on the list of best game from a prior year, since I finished that earlier in the year, which I've mentioned 9 million times. Since I'm proud of that, because I don't finish many video games. So I don't know. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I'm really enjoying it. I'm interested to see where I'm gonna rank it. So you'll be finding out a little bit with me on this because I don't know where I'm gonna go yet. So I've been playing that. That's in the vein of the year of the RPG. I've also been playing Persona 5 Royal. I've been playing it on the Switch. I picked it up on sale maybe a week or so ago. It's a great handheld game. I've been definitely finding that out. I've been doing a lot of skipping and fast forwarding, trying to get back to where I haven't seen content before. So I think the furthest I've gotten in this game so far is maybe like 10 hours or something like that. So I'm getting relatively close to it. I think I need to handle Kamoshida, and then I'll be seeing new stuff. So I think I've only gotten past Kamoshida once, and I think I'm close to entering. I think I'm actually at the entrance of the dungeon of the castle now, where you go and try to take out Kamoshida for good. So that's where I'm at right now in the Persona 5 Royal. It's nice having that on the Nintendo Switch, being able to play, sitting outside on the porch or something, or just playing on the couch or whatever it may be. I've really been enjoying the handheld games, and I think for my love of the RPG genre now, I think playing in handheld is a great thing, and just playing on Switch in general is good, because you don't necessarily need, extreme, you're not fighting extreme combat. You're a lot of times doing turn-based things, and that's pretty well suited for any type of controller. So that's been a helpful thing too. So it might just be fitting a perfect niche in my gaming habits at the moment. So that's something I've been playing. I don't really have too much pressure on myself to finish any of these. Another RPG that I booted up is something I bought earlier in the year and I released earlier in the year. So this is a game that could be considered for 2024 Game of the Year, and that is Paper Mario, the Thousand Year Door Remake. So I didn't really look up too many stats on this, but this is a game from the GameCube era that is critically acclaimed. It's a fan favorite. It has a cult following. I feel like this game is very popular. I think this remake actually did pretty well. I think they've upgraded some things from what I can tell. From scouring the internet and other people's takes, because I've only played a little bit of the original one, just kind of the story of my life with video games. But this one, I have booted it up again. So I gave up on Super Mario RPG, trying to complete that. I will go back to that one day, hopefully, and complete it, because I'm pretty close. And the Panthers are trying to score right now. Chuba is down to the 2-yard line. So it's really nice to see that the paid. We're going to talk about that. 4 years, $32 million at the end of the show. Chuba Hubbard has gotten paid. So yeah, I'm watching the Panthers game while recording this podcast. They're playing over in Germany, and Chuba Hubbard is about to score. It's pretty exciting. But Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, it's a really great start to it. I like the combat. I like the stage setting. I like the timing mechanics. I like the characters. I think it's genuinely funny in some parts. I definitely laughed at one part already. And the world looks beautiful. The writing seems good, and it seems like a really fun RPG. So it's going to be, I don't know, my introduction. I would love to complete one of these top-down RPGs. That's not something I've done yet. I've completed Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is more of a traditional third-person action kind of RPG. But I would like to complete one of these top-down ones, kind of like Sea of Stars or Super Mario RPG or Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, or like the Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake that's coming out. Something in that style. Octopath Traveler. I kind of have in my mind those are two split paths in the RPG genre. So just something I've been mulling over on my RPG in this. But Paper Mario Thousand Year Door is another good one to play handheld, and I've been loving my Switch, as always. So I've been playing those. Those have been my 3 RPGs I've been diving into. I have a couple more in my rotation, like Metaphor, ReFantazio. I'm trying to think of any other ones at the moment. That's pretty much it. Other games I'm possibly trying to finish would be Astrobot and Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. But something else that I've restarted has been The Witcher 3. So I was watching the great streamer Rachel K play some Witcher 2 last week, and it inspired me to download Witcher 3 once again, which maybe I've only played 20 hours of at some point. I've definitely done a few different a few different files and a few different attempts at trying to play it. And Bryce Young threw a touchdown to Jatavian Sanders. Man, that's really wonderful to see. So go, Bryce. He scrambled around the pocket a little bit, gave his guy some time to get open. Jatavian was completely wide open. Threw a ball on a dime. Touchdown, Panthers up 7-0 in Germany against the Giants. So pretty great stuff going on there. But I was telling you about starting The Witcher 3. I have restarted my file. I have the Game of the Year edition, so I have all the expansions and everything. I'm playing the game on easy, and I am enjoying it. The open world looks amazing. The next-gen updates to the game look amazing. This game is really visually impressive, and the story and the dialogue, or the story and the voice acting is impeccable. And Geralt is such a cool character, so I'm going to try to play some of this game and throw it in my rotation. So I've been playing some really good stuff this week, and kind of trying to get some heavy hitters in the mix. So I've really been doing that. I'm going to probably try to do that for the end of the year, so I can decide what I'm going to pick as the best video game of the year. So that's been everything I've been playing. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Persona 5 Royal, Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, and The Witcher 3. So I do think a little bit I don't need to be playing multiple games at one time, but I can do whatever I want. I don't know if it's going to help me complete these RPGs. I don't know if it's the best thing to be playing multiple RPGs at one time, but hey, I like to switch it up, so that's what I'm going to keep trying. And you can kind of do whatever you want out here as a video gamer, so that's what I am here talking through with you. So those have been what I've been playing. It's the year of the RPG of the Dep Lewis Show, almost coming to a close. We're going to do Game of the Year for the Dep Lewis Show Awards 2024. Will be December 8th, 2024. So on that Sunday, you're going to get to hear Best Game of the Year, Best Video Game from a Prior Year, and maybe a couple other categories as well. So one of the best podcasts of the year, one of my favorite things to do, and it's coming at you December 8th. So I want to make sure you remember that. So that's going to wrap up this first section of this podcast that I'm recording while watching the Panthers game. Pretty amazing. They're up 7-0, getting my Sunday morning started off great. It's 9:49 a.m. in the morning, so maybe you'll be listening to this later in the day, watching some more football, and the Panthers will have won their 3rd victory of the year. But I'm going to keep you updated probably as we go through this show of what is going on in the Panthers game, so just be mindful of that. So that's wrapping up this first section. We're going to take a quick break. You're going to hear some lovely break music, and we're going to come back for the midsection where I tell you about what's going on around the video game world. So come back right after this. Welcome back to the midsection of Dep Lewis Show, episode 102. This is where I tell you about what's going on around the video game world, all the things you need to know, and keep you up to date with the video game. So here's we got some releases. So the PlayStation 5 Pro has released. So a mid console generation refresh, a little bit of an upgrade for you. It released on November 7th, 2024. It is $699 US dollars, so $700 US dollars. Pretty pricey, the most expensive console out there at the moment, and I guess probably of all time. Play PlayStation 5 games with the most impressive visuals ever possible on a PlayStation console. Has 2 terabytes of storage. With the PlayStation 5 Pro console, the world's greatest game. Creators can enhance their games. See, alright, we'll get back to that. They can enhance their games with incredible features like advanced ray tracing, super sharp image clarity for your 4K TV, and high frame rate gameplay. That means you can get to play PlayStation 5 games with the most impressive visuals ever possible on a PlayStation console. So PS5, alright, so the only thing I wanted to talk trash on there was the world's greatest game creators can enhance their games. So why mention that they can enhance their games that have already been made? We know everybody in the world just wants new games on the current gen. We want new games. That's the thing everyone's complaining about. We're all saying the budgets are too large. They take too long to make. There's too much pressure on them. They release games in a broken state just to sometimes appease investors. So, whatever. This PlayStation 5 Pro console, just want to say off the jump, I don't think is a necessary purchase. But it's like if you have a lot of money and want to buy one, or if you don't have a console at all, maybe want to consider this just so you can get the latest jump in the graphics. But I really don't think that is the problem, in my opinion. But telling you more about this console, PS5 Pro is an all-digital console with no disc drive. Sign into your account for a PlayStation Network and go to PlayStation Store to buy and download games. You can also add a disc drive to your PS5 Pro console if you'd like to play PS5 or PS4 games on Blu-ray disc, or if you want to watch movies and shows on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray disc, and DVDs. So if you want to buy a disc drive to attach to this PS5 Pro, you can. I think it's around $60 to $80 if I remember correctly. And you can also, there's no stand sold with this. So that's something I think you'll see a lot of times in marketing pictures, the console upright in a stand, and the stand sold separately. I believe that thing is $29.99. My PlayStation 5 Slim console stands upright without a stand, and I think it's a little bit of the area where I have it placed, but I don't think it's too much of a hazard for falling. I have it kind of like, it's not up against the wall, but if it fell, it would just kind of lean against the wall. So I don't think the stand is completely necessary. It would be a nice thing to have included with an expensive console or any of these consoles. I think they definitely could provide us with a stand, so that one continues to be silly. But my overall thoughts on the PS5 Pro are a little bit negative. I don't think it's a necessary upgrade. I don't think it's been shaking the earth with its release. I really don't. I haven't really heard anybody going over the moon about this console. I think it's just an okay thing. I think it has some upgraded visuals. I think visuals on consoles look really amazing. I was just talking about The Witcher 3 in the first section of this podcast of how good it looks now with the next-gen upgrades and next-gen hardware and all the little tweaks they've made to it. So we're getting a lot of upgrades from prior games, which I think is really great. So I think it is nice that the world's greatest game creators can enhance their games. I really do, because I think it benefits you, especially if you play it later on down the road. I think it's just a really great, nice icing on the cake thing. But I think there's a little bit of a problem with these giant releases and the budgets and things like that. And this PlayStation 5 Pro console, I do not believe is necessary. I think we already have, if you have a PC, you can kind of go the high end route. And I don't know if we'll see Xbox do the same thing. I really don't think we will. But the PS5 Pro is out now. It's something I have considered purchasing, just because I love video games. I love this new hardware, but I just really can't get over the hump of wanting to buy one, or really being interested in trying to buy one. I just really think I'm gonna kind of let it go by the wayside. I've never bought a pro version of a console before. I never did it in the prior generation, but definitely something I got my eye on and would like to see some of the reception to it. But I definitely haven't heard anything too crazy about how good it is, or how much you need to buy it, or how much of it's a game changer. So that is kind of my thought on that, but it is available now. The PlayStation 5 Pro. I want to think if I can think of anything else to say about it. Well, nothing really. I think they're for sale right now. I think you can go buy them. So I think they are available. I think if you have not bought a next-gen console, I think that would be the only situation where I'd maybe want to buy one of these things. So just maybe in the future I'll be one of those people. Maybe for next console cycle. Because I really do think there was no reason to jump on the current gen Xbox Series X or PS5 Pro or PS5 console right away either, because we still haven't really seen too many games that are exclusive just to those consoles. And I don't know how much of a graphics hound I am, but I do enjoy the nice graphics. So it's something I go back and forth with, but I generally lean towards, don't need the highest end graphics possible, because if you really wanted that, you would be on the PC side of things spending a lot of cash. All right, so PS5 Pro is out now. All right, something else that's out now is a game that was originally just on PlayStation, so PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4, I guess, too, is Death Stranding. So this is the game by Kojima Productions, the great Hideo Kojima, the genre-defying open-world action-adventure game from 2019, I believe. It's now available on Xbox, so Xbox Series X and S and PC. It kind of just was a shadow announcement, said, hey, this game is out there now. And it's actually even on sale for the start of its release. So it's on sale right now for $19.99 US. It's normally running $39.99 US, which I feel like is a great value in general. This game was being sold as full price for a long time, so I guess they have just lowered the price for going forward, even for the Director's Cut Edition. So I think that's pretty impressive. This is a game that I own on PlayStation or PlayStation 5. I own the Director's Edition, but I've never played it before. But something I have a lot of interest in, something I think is just cool to own. And something I would like to maybe, they have the sequel coming out to this, so something to maybe play before that or that kind of thing. Just something to check out. Definitely seems worth checking out at some point. But the premise of this game is in the near future, mysterious explosions have rocked the globe, setting off a series of supernatural events known as the Death Stranding. With otherworldly creatures plaguing the landscape and mass extinction imminent, it's up to Sam Porter Bridges to travel across the ravaged wasteland and save humanity from impending annihilation. So this is the game with, what's his name, Daryl? I think it's Daryl from The Walking Dead. Norman Reedus is the lead character in this game, and I don't know, this game looks really cool. I just want to let you know that it's out on Xbox right now. It's a pretty cool release, and you can even see, I think it says Sony Interactive Entertainment when you boot this game up. So we're going to keep seeing some more splash screens at the beginning of games that are confusing, and that's how it's going to be going with the way of the world. But I think it's good to get these games on other platforms, and this can possibly bring in some late sales to the game. So something they can definitely appreciate, and I think the game is a very high quality, so I don't mind them doing this at all. I think it's a great thing. All right, what else is going on around the video game world? A game called Hogwarts Legacy. Do you remember that one from February of last year, 2023? An immersive open world action RPG set in the world first introduced in the Harry Potter books. Experience Hogwarts in the 1800s. Your character is a student who holds the key to an ancient secret that threatens to tear the wizarding world apart. Discover the feeling of living at Hogwarts as you make allies, battle dark wizards, and ultimately decide the fate of the wizarding world. This game was developed by Avalanche Software and published by Warner Brothers Games, and something I own on the Xbox that I've played some of and would like to play more of and think it's a good game. But the sequel has been confirmed to be in development, so they are making a sequel to this game. This game was successful enough to warrant a sequel, and that's really no surprise with the gargantuan reach of the Harry Potter franchise. The sequel game's plot would be coordinated with a new Harry Potter series for Mac. So something else I didn't realize, that there was a Harry Potter series coming to Macs. I'm a pretty big Harry Potter fan. I don't know if I would be into watching this series on Macs. I don't really watch too many TV shows these days, but I'm definitely, a fan of. I was growing up during the Harry Potter time, so something I really do love the books and the movies, and think it's a great series. And Hogwarts Legacy is something I'd like to play more of too. But there's a sequel in development, and that is good news for all the Harry Potter fans in the world. So what else is going on? Fortnite has an update. Fortnite is the popular battle royale that started in 2017 that's gone many changes. And Chuba Hubbard is still doing work for the Panthers right now as this podcast is being recorded. His jersey is all dirty, and he is just moving the ball. I think he caught that one for like maybe 15, 20 yards, something like that. So he's going in. So way to go. Way to go, new Panthers. They got like Liggett, Coker, they got Sanders, they got Chuba, they got Jonathan Brooks coming in the mix at some point. Some pretty good things. They're finding a little bit of something to build on here with the Panthers. And so, sorry for this little mid-interruption here, but it's pretty exciting stuff to see that they're actually having a little bit of momentum, making a little bit of progress, being able to see the vision a little bit. And this is something we're going to talk about. And look at Bryce. Bryce just stared down a blitzer, held out for the last second, hit Coker for about 8 yards. Can have about 2nd and 2 coming up. So pretty good stuff going here with the Panthers game during the podcast. So maybe I just need to keep on recording. Everybody's loving Coker right now. Yeah, we caught that. Loving these new guys right here. So a little bit of hope for the Panthers fans. But Fortnite, the news here is back to video games. Fortnite OG is returning permanently in December. This is still alleged, but it's a pretty big rumor. Maybe it gets announced at the Game Awards is one thing I heard, December 12th. All Chapter 1 seasons would be returning. Only OG loot and supports no build plus build modes is the word on the street. So as someone who really got into Fortnite later on in the Fortnite cycle was when they brought back OG. So that was kind of some of my favorite times in Fortnite. And I wasn't an OG player. I was like the OG, the refresh version of OG when it came back around. I played that. It was kind of when I first got introduced and would play with some friends and things like that. So possibly could get back into the Fortnite mix. Something I still have downloaded on all my consoles because it's a great thing to have to jump in if people want to play or if you just want to get a random game in. And I think OG returning permanently is a really great thing for Fortnite and for myself. So pretty good news there for the Fortnite. So let's get into the Nintendo side of things. This one's just kind of a general Nintendo update. There's a lot of rumors and speculation going on. And I think it's been confirmed, again, that the successor to the Nintendo Switch, whatever it's going to be called, is still going to be announced before the end of Nintendo's fiscal year. So for Nintendo, this is April through March. So we should hear something about the reveal, I guess, or we're going to get the reveal of the console before March. So we are really on the countdown for getting the update to the next Nintendo Switch. But one big update that's come out that they have said that some people are still speculating on of how it's going to be, but I really think this is the truth. I don't think they would say this and come back and be confusing about it, but they're saying Nintendo Switch software will also be playable on the successor to the Nintendo Switch. So Nintendo Switch software will also be playable on the successor to Nintendo Switch. So some people are still speculating in what capacity will be playable. Will it be digital stuff only? Will your physical stuff be able to play? And I think if I had to put some money down on it, I would say they're going to make this thing fully backwards compatible. They're still going to be using those carts for Switch 2 games or whatever it's going to be called. I think this thing really is just going to be a beefier Switch, and it's going to be something that you want to upgrade for your old games to run better and to run the new games at the best way possible. So I think they're kind of moving into Xbox, PlayStation territory. So I think there's going to be an argument for not upgrading immediately, but they are going to be, trying to entice you to move over probably by having some software would be the thing to get me to jump over there. But I don't know. I like that option. I think that's okay. I think that's an okay option to have. I like my old games running. I like to be able to buy new games, even if I don't have the brand new console. Maybe they'll run a little bit worse, but I wouldn't mind that. But ultimately, I would like to have these new consoles, if just money grew on trees. But, this would be something I'm definitely trying to purchase when it comes out. But I'm going to think about it a little more than I did last time, is what I'm kind of getting at here. So everything looking like it's going to be backwards compatible. I think that's a great news for your collections of video games and your backlogs, and just for games going forward. I think that's really, really great. Nintendo Switch Online is seemingly going to be the same name of the service. Seems like they're going to maybe evolve the service a little bit, add some more to it, and just kind of keep it moving. But I think that's going to be a staple in the Nintendo stable. So Nintendo Switch Online seems like it's staying around. All this stuff's a little bit rumory, but it seems like it's pretty much confirmed, like a half a hair away from being confirmed. So we will see. Let's see. My Panthers game is frozen over here. So let's see if I can get that back. Would be nice, so I can be distracted properly during the podcast. All right, and so that's the rumors on the Nintendo Switch 2. So, whenever that news gets broken, you'll be definitely hearing about that on the Dep Lewis Show, because I'm excited, and that is something that I think I will be trying to purchase ultimately. So I just think there's a little bit of argument for the world, or even for myself, that you might not need to upgrade right away, especially if the backwards compatibility stuff's in there, and we don't know what they're going to have for software yet. So still some questions to be answered. Oh, the Panthers? Nope, didn't catch that one. All right. So what else is going on with Nintendo? So they have just closed another quarter. They've given us some updates on financials. I want to go over a few of those. In the most recent quarter, sales are down 31% for hardware and 27.6% for software this quarter. So they've revised their next forecast for the next quarter to go down a little bit. And I don't think this is any reason for alarm. I think this is, how it goes in the year 8 of a console cycle. They haven't released any huge hitters this game. They had Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, but they haven't had anything like Tears of the Kingdom from last year. So a little bit more of a spotty year for their first-party software, and then third-party stuff is running worse and worse on the Switch as time goes on. So I think it is time for a refresh on some hardware for you to fully enjoy and utilize and have confidence in the direction of the next console. So I think that's something they're going to want to get out here pretty soon. So they're still anticipating their forecast to go down for the next quarter, I guess. So we're not going to see the Switch quite then, the Switch successor then, but every quarter after that is fair game. But they've also said on a positive note, so I don't think any of this stuff was too negative. I think they expected some of this stuff, but it's just kind of the facts and is what it is at this point in time. You're not going to be able, like on a roller coaster, you're not just going to be high highs all the time. You got to take some dips, you got to go down, and sometimes you got to get off the ride, I guess, and reconsider, but it's never just going to be high highs all the time, and that's something that you can't expect. And I think sometimes these companies do expect that a little bit, and that's where you get caught in some of these layoff territories. So I think you need to be realistic out here about how things go. But the Nintendo Switch is a smashing success. So something that the Switch has revitalized, and they've picked out 4 franchises that the Switch has seen substantial growth, and that's been the Pikmin series, Kirby, Metroid, and Xenoblade Chronicles. So Xenoblade Chronicles is definitely something that I want to get into, and a franchise that's kind of like the number one franchise that I haven't played that I would like to play some of. I played a little bit of Xenoblade 1, the definitive edition, but I ended up selling that copy. I don't know why. That was kind of a dumb move. I've had some bad trade-ins over the course of my life, and something I'd like to play again. So I think we're going to get into the Xenoblade Chronicles, especially with my newfound love of the RPG genre over the year of the RPG on the Dep Lewis Show. So it's good to see that they're having some franchises that have been around for a while, and they're really showing some success outside of the Marios and the Mario Karts and the Smash and the Zeldas and things like that. They have some, maybe second tier you can call them just for this purpose, but some growing franchises, and I think that's a really great thing that they have so many options. And Nintendo does a wonderful job at having great franchises and putting out wonderful games, and I applaud them for that daily or whatever it is, because they're really great video game company. So they have now sold over officially 140, I think it's 146. I think some of these numbers I was getting different ones, but it's over 140 million units of the Nintendo Switch, and I think they've added about 2.5 million units this recent quarter, so they're still selling Switches. Nothing to feel sorry for them about or throw up donations to Nintendo. And total software sales are now up to 1.3 billion. So they have sold some video games. It would be fun to look at a list of the highest selling Switch games. I think I've talked about that before. I think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is one of the highest sellers. And some of the Zelda games and things like that are Mario Odyssey and Smash and Pokemon. But just an interesting thing. They sold a lot of games, 1.3 billion. So Nintendo is doing some really great things, and I will be here following along with them personally and here on the show telling you about what's going on with Nintendo always. All right, so on the Nintendo side of things, they released a video game in the past week, released on November 7th, 2024 for Nintendo Switch, $59.99 US, and that's Mario and Luigi Brothership. So the back of the box talk on this is all hands on deck for an island hopping adventure starring Mario and Luigi. The brothers return for a brand new adventure on the high seas. When the Uni Tree is destroyed and the world of Concordia is broken apart, Mario and Luigi must try to reconnect a fractured world, one island at a time. Use your bros moves to get past obstacles while you explore, and powerful bro attacks and a dynamic twist on turn-based combat. You'll need every edge this brothership will give you to save the day. So the Panthers scored a field goal I just saw. Eddie Pinheiro is kicking off to the Giants, and the second quarter has 14 minutes left in it. So that's the Panthers update during the podcast. But Mario and Luigi Brothership has been released, the latest iteration of the Mario and Luigi RPG franchise, which is a big heralded thing. And I think the consensus on this is if you were going to play a Mario RPG from this year, you want to go play the Paper Mario Thousand Year Door remake. I don't think this one is shaking things up in a good way. I don't think I've heard too many great things about this game. I've actually heard some pretty bad reviews about this game. It seems a little bit bland. It seems a little bit generic. It seems a little bit uninteresting. So I don't know if this is something that has sold me on trying to buy it, but I'll just say, use caution if you're buying this game. I think maybe it's a little bit skewed to a younger audience, which that is perfectly fine because video games can span a wide range of things. But I think this could be something if you had a younger person that really wanted to buy it. I think it's just kind of a less complex kind of game is what my take on it, but it's something I could pick up in the future. I have a couple other Mario RPGs I'd like to finish already, Super Mario RPG and Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I really can't see myself picking this up anytime soon, but I just kind of want to say that it is out now, and I've kind of heard it's not that good. So Mario and Luigi Brothership seeming like a little bit of a flop, but a release nonetheless, and something that if you're itching for a video game, it could be one of those for you. So out now. All right, another game coming out in the upcoming week. That's something I think I do want to buy. Is Tetris Forever. So this is releasing on November 12th, 2024. So just a couple days you're listening in real time. For Nintendo Switch, PS5, PS4, Xbox One, Microsoft Windows, and Xbox Series X and S. So running the full gamut of consoles there. Developer, Digital Eclipse, Blue Planet Software, Toes, and Spike Chunsoft, I guess because there's so many different iterations of Tetris in here. It's being published by Digital Eclipse. It's not quite showing a price yet, but I wrote down my guess is going to be $39.99 US, but that is just pure speculation on me. And some of the back of the box talk on this game is unrivaled after 4 decades. Tetris Forever celebrates the original, genre-inspiring puzzle game that escaped from behind the Iron Curtain onto the world stage and into our cultural consciousness. So more than 15 playable classic games from the series' history are featured, including many being released for the first time outside of Japan. Battle your friends in the multiplayer cult favorite Tetris Battle Gaiden, create massive explosions to clear lines in Super Bomb Bliss, and see where it all began in 1984 with an accurate recreation of the first version of Tetris on the Electronica 60 computer. So as the next release in Digital Eclipse's acclaimed Golf Master Series, Tetris Forever includes more than an hour of all-new documentary featurettes exploring the lifelong friendship and creative partnership between Tetris creator Pajitnov and the Tetris company founder Rogers. I'm just going to stick with the last names there. And they share the extraordinary but true story about Tetris that you never knew. So, and as this celebration wouldn't be complete without an all-new Tetris experience, prepare to enter the Tetris Time Warp. Up to 4 players will warp between different eras of Tetris in real time to experience a variety of classic graphic styles and play mechanics. In a world where games come and go, Tetris is forever. So if you've never heard about Tetris, it's a timeless video game. It can be played at any time of the day, any time of a year, and any decade. It's going to be fun, and it's cool to have a lot of Tetris games in one package. So just thinking about it, this is not something I need to pick up day one. I would certainly like to pick it up day one, but this is going to be a video game that I pick up at some point, and I enjoy it at some point, and I enjoy it for a long time because it has many iterations of Tetris in it. So I want to make you aware that Tetris is out there. If you're in a slump, you want a new video game, you want something that really can take your mind off and just steal some of your time for a bit and play some Tetris and really just be focusing on what's coming down the pipe. I think Tetris is a great game for that. It's a great game. One of those great games, kind of like Bellatra, that you can play any time of the day, anytime. And I think that's really a strong selling point for having it in your video game collection. So Tetris Forever, coming out soon. It seems like they're doing a little bit of a Tetris 99 thing in there with that Tetris Time Warp. So maybe they've learned some lessons from the Nintendo side of things about like a battle kind of thing. So that sounds kind of interesting. I think Tetris 99 was pretty successful. And I think this is a really cool package. This would be a cool one to buy a physical copy of. I don't know if they're selling physical copies right away, but that's something I would definitely check into and something probably worth waiting on myself. So Tetris Forever releases in the upcoming week, November 12th. So talking about more video games that are releasing, I got a few more to tell you about in the upcoming weeks. Just to keep you abreast of what's going on around the video game world, Microsoft Flight Simulator releases on November 19th, 2024. It's available day one on Xbox Series X and S, Xbox Game Pass, PC Game Pass, Xbox Cloud Gaming, Windows 10 and Windows 11, and Steam. But if you want to buy the standard version, that's $69.99 US, a full price game. And in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, you can pursue your dream of an aviation career. This brand new simulator is designed to take advantage of the latest technologies in simulation, cloud, machine learning, graphics, and gaming to create the most sophisticated, immersive, and awe-inspiring flight simulator of all time. To achieve this unprecedented level of accuracy, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 is powered by the significantly evolved Asobo Studio engine. So this game is definitely a spectacle. It's impressive. It's fun to watch people play. You can, I think, really learn some actual piloting skills in this game, which is a pretty cool translation. You can build out a flight rig and all that kind of stuff. So this game is good for the casual and the enthusiast. I think they're kind of really doing a great job there of capturing kind of everybody in this game. You can see like real-time stuff in the world. You can fly over your house, I think, and stuff like that. So Microsoft Flight Simulator is definitely an impressive thing. I think it's a little bit more so than even a video game. It's just kind of a cool thing just to have, and that takes place in the world, that you can really do these things on a video game console, and just so impressive. And this kind of game is only going to get more impressive as time goes on and the visuals get even better, but it's kind of just hard to imagine, and just a really cool, interesting thing, something I've never tried. I am afraid of heights, and I've heard playing this game can sometimes kind of help you with that. So I don't know if it's something that I should play at some time to kind of try to help myself get over my fear, but I don't know if I ever will. But I'm definitely kind of a chicken when it comes to heights, and some of the perspective stuff in this game could kind of probably make me uneasy. But I think I've heard that some people use this as a means to try to battle that. So it could be a good contender to try to alleviate some fear out there for myself. So I don't know. I think it's a cool thing. I think I'll be watching Vinny from Nextlander play this. He's definitely someone that's been playing this game and really excited for it, and someone that's very fun to watch talk about video games, or to watch and listen talk about video games. So Vinny Caravella out there, if you don't know. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 releases November 19th, 2024. So another game, Indiana Jones. Oh man, I never even typed the whole name of the game. I think it's The Great Circle. I want to make sure I tell you that right. I have some incomplete notes going on here. I think I do want to play this game. I think it could be one, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. This could be one where I subscribe to Game Pass for a month and play this and try it out. But I don't know, maybe I'll want to buy a full copy if it reviews really well. But this game's going to release on December 9th, 2024 for the Xbox Series X and S and Microsoft Windows. There is a PlayStation version set to release in 2025, I believe, is the rumor or the scoop or the speculation, or even a little bit of a TBD. I think it's halfway been confirmed. This is being developed by Machine Games and published by Bethesda Softworks. In this game, you can uncover one of history's greatest mysteries in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, a first-person, single-player adventure set between the events of Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade. The year is 1937. Sinister forces are scouring the globe for the secret to an ancient power known as the Great Circle, and only one person can stop them, Indiana Jones. You'll become the legendary archaeologist in the cinematic action-adventure game from Machine Games, the award-winning studio behind the recent Wolfenstein series, and executive produced by Hall of Fame game designer Todd Howard. A new story, a world of mystery awaits, whip-cracking action, and the spirit of discovery. So this game, the reasons I would be interested in this, because it was generally being touted as an Xbox exclusive, something to play on Xbox. So it's been heralded as that for a while. It's coming to other platforms. I don't necessarily dislike that, but maybe Xbox will be the first place you can play this game. Published by Bethesda, still holds a little bit of weight with me, even though Bethesda's not been completely on the mark, but Bethesda's still a name that I look at and draws my attention. I don't really have too much familiarity with the Indiana Jones series. I've seen some of the more recent movies, maybe early 2000s or something like that when I was a little bit younger. I saw some of the later movies in the series, like when they were coming out in theaters, maybe saw one of them, maybe two. Don't have any kind of nostalgia really for Indiana Jones, but seems kind of cool. I mean, it seems okay. I don't have any dislike for it. And then you have Todd Howard, executive producing this game. That's another good selling point in this game. Some of the vibes in this game kind of look a little bit like Uncharted, which is the series from Naughty Dog, that one of my favorite series of all time. I do love Uncharted. Uncharted 2 is one of my favorite video games ever. It has a little bit of that kind of vibe to it. I think that's kind of a cool thing. I think it's interesting they're doing some first person and some third person in this game. And generally just kind of interested to see what people are going to think about this. So this is one I want to watch other people play on the internet, watching people stream, watching reviews and things like that, and something I can be playing possibly next year at some point. I don't think I'm going to be playing this day one unless the world's just going nuts, but I'm interested in the release of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle on December 9th, 2024. So I think there's a few more releases coming out before the end of the year. So maybe next week I'll try to get those together, see, a full like brass tacks of what's coming out for the end of the year. I need to get a list of stuff going for next year too. So I got some preparation to do over here to close the year out. I really need to see, what I've missed from this year, what's still coming out from this year. I need to play my game of the year stuff, and then I need to get ready for 2025 of what's going on with the video game world. And one thing I do know is just I'm going to be podcasting. That's the plan. All right, so the last thing I want to talk to you about on this midsection of Dep Lewis Show episode 102 is Halo 2. It's an old game from 2004. They've had their 20th anniversary, developed by Bungie. Just want to shout out Halo 2 for being a great video game. Halo is one of my favorite franchises of all time. I can still remember the day that Halo 2 came out. I was going to school. My mom picked me up from school and had bought a copy of Halo 2 for me during the day. So just a wonderful way to get home, to be picked up from school. Immediately went with a couple of my friends, and we went and played some Halo 2 probably for the rest of the year and the rest of the couple years. So Halo 2, a legendary video game. You can now play the iconic 2003 E3 demo through the Master Chief Collection right now. So somewhere in the menu you can go play that. So that's pretty interesting and cool. Just something cool to highlight. I think Halo 1 was definitely a pretty good tipping point for me in my video game life. I can remember the day that came out too. So I have some pretty great memories from Halo 1, 2, and 3 especially. And just want to highlight, the world moves on quick. It's been 20 years since Halo 2. And just a good little stop and smell the roses moment for the video game world. There's been a whole lot of great things since then. A whole lot of great Halo stuff since then. But Halo 2 was a monumental time. And one of those games that, everybody probably has some of these that they'll remember from being younger. Or just games over the course of the history of your life that you can really remember the moment and are cool, amazing, great video games. So Halo 2, 20th anniversary. Happy anniversary, Halo 2. And go check out some Halo if you never have, because it's a great thing. Go play the Master Chief Collection or play some Halo Infinite. All good things. All right, so that's going to wrap up this midsection of the show. Poor Miles Sanders is getting carted off the field. Looks like some type of leg injury, possibly a lower leg injury because he's sitting up. So that's bad news. You don't want to see a guy get injured, especially not over there in Germany. Go a long way to get hurt in the second quarter. Miles Sanders has not had the greatest Panthers run, but you don't want to see anybody get hurt. He's definitely shown some flashes. And if you're out there fighting for the Carolina Panthers, I respect you a little bit because that is my favorite NFL team. So Panthers are up 10-0. 11 minutes left in the second quarter. And we are wrapping up the midsection of the Dep Lewis Show now. So that's going to wrap up all the video game talk. In the midsection we talked about, just as a reminder to sum everything up. Let's see. PS5 Pro available now. Death Stranding is available now on Xbox. Hogwarts Legacy has a sequel coming down the pipe. Is it the pipe? Yeah, I guess it is. Fortnite OG is rumored to be returning permanently in December. Nintendo has a lot of rumors going on, but we're going to expect to get the Nintendo Switch 2, whatever that's going to be called, announcement before March of 2025. Mario and Luigi Brothership is out now, available on Nintendo Switch. Tetris Forever comes out in the upcoming week on November 12th. Microsoft Flight Simulator comes out in just over a week on November 19th. And then Indiana Jones and the Great Circle releases December 9th, 2024. And it is also the 20th anniversary of Halo 2. So that's all the news and video game news and information I have for you this week. I'll be back next week with more video game news and information that you need to know. So, just make sure you come back every week. It's an easy enough thing to do. Put it on, listen to for an hour, and get some video game news, thoughts. And then we're going to get into the miscellaneous talk section after this. So we're going to take one quick break. We're going to have the Miscellaneous Talk section. We're going to come back and talk about anything I want to outside of the video game world. And we're going to get into the worldwide world of sports, as I always like to do. Tell you what's going on with my favorite teams. And as you know, if you've been listening to this podcast, the Carolina Panthers are playing right now. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Carolina Panthers to start off the final section after this break. Welcome back to the Miscellaneous Talk section of Dep Lewis Show, episode 102. This is where I can talk about anything I want to outside the video game world. So let's start off with my favorite NFL team, the Carolina Panthers. As you know, they're playing a game right now over in Munich, Germany against the Giants. They're up 10-0 right now. Chuba Hubbard has been putting in that work, and Chuba Hubbard has also gotten paid. But last week, maybe the reason I'm sounding a little bit positive on the Panthers is they won a game. Can you believe it? They beat the Saints last Sunday. 23-22. Bryce was pretty clutch there at the end, made some plays, and they got it done. It's unbelievable. But Bryce was 16 of 26, 171 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, and 1 sack for 5 yards. He looked like he could be our quarterback. You know, that stat line isn't Patrick Mahomes, but Bryce is a young guy, and he's really showing a little bit of command out there, so it's nice to see. Showing some confidence. So Chuba, who has been carrying the team, has 15 carries for 72 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he has just been a shining star for all to see, and he got paid, so thank goodness. Jatavian Sanders had 4 catches for 87 yards, along with 46 and 5 targets, and we already saw him catch a touchdown against the Giants this morning. Jalen Coker was next in receiving for 2 catches for 36 yards. Xavier Legette had 4 catches for 33 yards and a touchdown, had his awesome celebration. Damani Richardson had 12 total tackles, followed by a bunch of people with 6 tackles. So the Panthers got a win, and then after the game, the Panthers extend Chuba 4 years, $33 million. So the Panthers paid someone who's actually good. They kept around someone who's actually been playing good and seems to be improving. And that seems to be a great deal too. Like $33 million seems like a great number to pay your running back. Especially if we weren't paying the Miles Sanders money. We would be really having a deal. And we have Jonathan Brooks, who I think is about to be activated or is activated. The rookie from Texas that's supposed to come in. So I think Chuba and Jonathan Brooks are the future of the Panthers backfield, and I am excited about that. So Chuba stock has really gone up in my mind. I might want to try to pick up a Chuba jersey. I was immediately looking for them right after the announcement. So I've been wanting to buy a current Panthers jersey. I don't have a current player, and Chuba's up there, and there's some other players coming in the mix too that I'm excited about. So it's pretty good things going on. The Panthers are playing right now over in Germany, like I've been saying, and I'm going to watch the second half of this game after this podcast. So second quarter, 10 minutes left. And they're in the lead. So, that's as good as I can hope for. Next week is a bye for the Panthers, so they're going to get a break. And then the following week after that is the Kansas City Chiefs come to town and playing in Charlotte against the Panthers. So, J.C. Horn out there making a play right now, one of my favorite Panthers. And I got a few other Panthers stepping up. So, it's a pretty, they're having a terrible season, but you want to see the picture of what can be. And if we're going to really show some improvement at the quarterback position, I think we're going to be in an okay spot. We're going to have some good draft picks next year and be able to improve the roster and see some growth. We've seen a lot of these quarterbacks where their first stop isn't the place where they're actually performing well. So, if you keep one of these guys around, maybe put some time into them, maybe they can grow and blossom into a great quarterback. And even if Bryce Young isn't the best quarterback in the NFL, if he's a top 10, top 15 starter at some point, a reliable starter for us, and, somebody, a homegrown person that we drafted, I think that's the best thing you can hope for. So I'm a little bit even on the Bryce Young hype train. I would love to see him succeed. I've definitely haven't seen some good things out of him over the course of these 2 years. But he's been showing some flashes now. He really handled the benching with some class and some poise, and he's coming back. He's out there smiling, looks like he's having fun, and he's throwing that damn football around. So he's playing some good football out there, just like the Panthers are doing. So I expect them to get this win today. I would love for them to get this win today and go into the bye on a 2-win streak, having some really good feels, having some great young guys really stepping up and, making it a little bit of an exciting time to be a Carolina Panthers fan. So, go Panthers. Doing really great out there. Doing great for the situation that you're in. And I hope you're going to get this win against the Giants today. So, come back to this podcast always for the Panthers news. So what else is going on with my favorite sports teams? I am a halfway Charlotte Hornets fan since I am a North Carolina resident. What's been going on since I last talked to you? So they played, I recorded the podcast early last week, so it's been a while since I talked to you guys, a little bit longer than normal. So last Friday versus the Celtics, the Hornets lost 109-124. And Saturday, they lost to the Hornets again, I lost to the Celtics again, 103 to 113. So the Celtics are definitely looking like a powerhouse again. On Monday, the Celtics were at Minnesota. The Hornets lost 93 to 114. So the T-Wolves are looking very strong too. Wednesday versus the Pistons, the Hornets won 108 to 107. The Pistons are actually looking like they have a little bit of fight this year. Cade Cunningham did some things to my Hawks that I'm going to tell you about in just a minute that I'm not happy about. Friday versus the Pacers against the Hornets. Hornets won 103 to 83, so a blowout against the Pacers. I thought about going to that game because I do like watching the Pacers, and I saw the Pacers play in person twice last year. I really like Halliburton, but Hornets really blew them out, so I'm kind of glad I didn't end up going to watch that. And then what's going on? So I think the Hornets play Philly today is what's going on. And then next week, the Hornets have Orlando, Bucks, and the Cavs. But my favorite NBA team, the Atlanta Hawks, have kind of not been performing too great. So since I last talked to you, they lost to the Kings last Friday, 115 to 123, which I think the Kings are looking pretty good. The Hawks beat the Pelicans 126 to, I guess it was 111. I don't know. I didn't put the score correctly there, but the Hawks won against the Pelicans against DeJounte Murray. I can't tell if he's hurt. I think Zion just got hurt, but the Pelicans are underperforming. I don't think I'm scared of them. And then Monday, the Hawks lost to Boston, who I said is a powerhouse. They lost 93 to 123, so not even close. The Hawks beat the Knicks Wednesday night, which was nice because they have a great rivalry going, 121 to 116. Trey was telling the Knicks fans, you don't got to go, but you got to get the hell out of here. And what else has happened? The Hawks lost to the Detroit Pistons Friday night, which was pretty heartbreaking. Trey made 2 clutch free throws at the end to take the lead. And then Cade Cunningham, I believe, had a block and then comes down and scores at the other end to win the game. And not quite a buzzer beater, but there was no time left and hardly any time left, and just a really, really strong take to the basket to win the game. So the Pistons are actually showing a little life this year. So I'm not really hating on those losses too bad. But the Hawks lost 121 to 122 in a really close game. And then last night, the Hawks lost to the Bulls 113 to 125, so that's pretty unacceptable. And nothing today for the Hawks, but then next week they will be playing the Celtics, the Wizards, and Portland. So only 3 games for each of my NBA teams next week, and I will keep you updated with what's going on with them. I'll say the Hornets are probably overperforming a little bit, and the Hawks are underperforming a little bit from what I've seen. So I've been trying to scour the NBA landscape. I've been putting down some parlays each day, trying to make some NBA money. I haven't really had any success. I think I've hit one decent parlay, but really trying to get a sense of what teams are good out here. And I think that's one good thing about betting is you can get a sense for what teams are winning and not. I think it's a good little clue because you're putting your money where your mouth is, and when you're losing a bet, you're taking notice of the team that beat you. So I think it kind of helps with some of that stuff of being able to predict who's good out there. But please gamble responsibly. That's something that needs to be said always, I feel like, because that is really true. I think the gambling can get away from you out there. But it is a fun thing to do if you can do it in some type of a responsible manner. But what else is going on? So that's all the NBA talk I have for you. Been watching a lot of NBA games, actually. That's been pretty fun. I have League Pass, and it's just been really enjoyable because I've been missing the next sport I want to talk to, which is Major League Baseball. So Major League Baseball, my favorite team is the Atlanta Braves. They will not play baseball again officially till March 27, 2025 at the Padres. Spring training starts February 22nd, 2025. But the things I want to report to you now, since it's the off season, Chris Sale won his first Gold Glove. So congrats to Chris Sale. That was a wonderful pickup by Alex Anthopoulos from the Red Sox, and one of the that move really floated the Braves through a lot of last year. So pretty much one of the giant all-stars of the team. And I think he's still up for the Cy Young. I don't know if they've announced those yet, but he should win the Cy Young. But since I've last talked to you, the Atlanta Braves have signed Aaron Bummer to a deal. They have signed the left-handed pitcher to a 2-year contract worth $13 million, $3.5 million in 2025 and $9.5 million in 2026. So, keeping a nice arm, a left-handed arm in the bullpen. And then the Braves, and this very outstanding move, they have signed Ronaldo Lopez to a 3-year contract. So $8 million in 2025, $14 million in 2026, and $8 million in 2027. So I am beyond excited to see Ronaldo Lopez pitch for the Braves for the next 3 years. He's a potential jersey I could want to pick up because I've always wanted to have a pitcher jersey. I don't know if they're going to sign Max Fried. If they sign Max Fried, they'll put him up to the top of that list. But Ronaldo Lopez is currently one of my favorite Braves for sure. One of my favorite guys on the pitching staff, and I'm glad that we're going to have him for the next 3 years. I'm glad we're going to have Chris Sale for next year, especially if we're going to have to move on without Max Fried. So at least there's a little bit of some good things going on. I really do like these other guys a whole lot, and I do think the Braves should pay Max Fried. I love Max Fried as a pitcher. I love Max Fried as a Brave, and I think you should pay the man. Pay Max Fried, Braves. Alex Anthopoulos, give him the bag. Drop the bag off, man. We need to keep Max Fried around. You need starting pitching in this league. He's been with us a long time. He's going to go somewhere else. He's going to be very good. Pay him some money. Pay Max Fried. So those are my Atlanta Braves thoughts. I'm ready for the regular season. Going to miss the baseball through the offseason. And, at least I got the Panthers playing okay and got some NBA going on. So the Panthers game is still 10-0, 6 minutes left in the second quarter. Panthers have the ball and hopefully can get a score here before the end of the half of some kind, put some more points on the board. And, I'll tell you next week what happens. But I'm gonna wrap up this miscellaneous talk section, which is going to wrap up the whole podcast. And I'm going to go watch the Carolina Panthers, watch the second half, and hopefully see a W. So in this miscellaneous talk section, we talked about the Carolina Panthers, we talked about the Charlotte Hornets, we talked about the Atlanta Hawks, and the Atlanta Braves. So that is going to wrap up the miscellaneous talk section. Go Panthers. And just thank you for listening to the show. It's going to wrap up the entire show. Episode 102 is a wrap. So I'm going to reiterate some promotional talk from the beginning. Please follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast. So find the best place to subscribe and listen weekly. Places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, and more. Twitch.tv/DepLewisShow. Dep Lewis Show is a great place to follow. If you'd like to support even further than just listening, Patreon.com/DepLewisShow is available if you'd like to subscribe monthly. And then Venmo at Dep Lewis Show is available any day, anytime, for any amount if you'd like to support the show. So just thank you for listening. Thank you for interacting with any of my content. I really do appreciate it. Love doing this podcast each week. Hope you found some good information in this podcast. Hope you were entertained and had some fun. And just thank you for being a Dep Lewis Show listener. And I will be back next week for another episode of Dep Lewis Show.